What is up, beautiful people? We are excited to announce that we now have merchandise on our website. Coffee mugs, pint glasses, t-shirts, and more. Head to our profile, hit the link, and show us some love. Let's go!
Yo, I'm just happy to be here.
I challenge everybody that listens to this to get out of your shell and go do something new and fun.
Happy to be here.
Like they just slow motion.
Do you see Zach trying to pretend like he doesn't watch cake sitting videos?
Happy to be here.
There to exorcise the demons.
So your swan man is
Our,
an exorcist?
our Schwan delivery man that brought us bomb pops and chicken nuggets is there to perform an exorcism.
This needs to be made into a short
You
film.
couldn't make this shit up.
Yo, I'm just happy to be here.
What is up, beautiful people of the world?
Boom, boom, boom.
My name is ExZac Change, and I'm happy to be here today with my friend, Imperfect Cody,
What up?
and our guest, the great Jango.
Oh my God.
Man, it's it's an honor to have you on a podcast because you're the hardest working musician in this town that I see.
You. Hardest working with the hardest working team, man. You know what I mean? My team go crazy. Shout out Riker. Shout out Break. Shout out Bisway. Oh, y'all want me to keep going? Shout out Grant. Shout out J-Law Ray. Shout out the whole fucking team, baby. Because we go hard, I promise you, man.
And consistently.
I promise
I feel
you,
like
man.
that's the other thing is going hard consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've been doing this. So when I go back on your Spotify, I can go back to 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we just start just kind of learning a little bit about where like kind of music started for you as far as just when you started wanting to really create music or just writing it.
That's cool. Yeah, we can start with creation, then we can jump into like when I was like, oh, let's make this a career.
Yeah.
So like creation, shucks. I was in high school. My younger brother was in high school. My younger brother, we used to go to house parties and shit. I bring him along with me. And I'm thinking like I'm the dude, right? People know who I am. They're like, oh, your brother's here. Your brother's like, what the fuck going on? My brother used to battle rap and shit.
Oh.
Yeah, so it started right there. I think I was like 17. He was 16, 15. He used to battle rap. Little young Scooby, little Scooby. So everybody would come to watch him battle rap. So I helped him get some equipment. I was like, damn, bro, if you do it, you might as well make music. Like, battle rap is cool, but where does that go? You know what I'm saying?
Big bro.
I used to get hella psyched. I was like, nah, nigga, you used to make music, bro. You talking cool, dog. So I helped him get his equipment and stuff. And he was like making music. So I started writing. And then one time he featured me. And I was like, oh, this is crazy. You know what I mean?
And this is your younger brother.
Yeah, it's my younger brother.
Oh,
yeah.
that's dope.
Yeah, my brother's cool as shit,
That's
man.
dope.
I was doing sports, he was doing the music. So I wrote a couple songs with him. My brother was into some other things. So eventually I was just like, dude, this is actually cool. I love the process. I loved like getting behind the computer and like helping like reshape the beats and shit like that to form over the vocals. So I was like, fuck it, let me do that for myself. 'Cause I had like a lot of different topics I wanted to talk about. And my brother was just young. He was just talking about all sorts of shit. I was like, did you really run that house, dog? I was like, wait a minute. What are you doing?
Like, is this just the song or wait, is this
I
real?
was like, we doing this for fun. Like, what are we doing? So I started writing my own shit. I must have been like 17, 18. I was doing it for a minute. And then I got into met a couple cats, Cease Carter and Brendan Pina, and we formed this group called El Mafia.
Mm-hmm.
So we started doing shows at the Pen and other spots.
I remember that.
Man, the
I
Pen
remember
used to be
seeing that
cool.
name all coming up. Yeah.
Yeah, we did a Mafia for a minute. And the thing about me, like, I used to be really into the idea. Like, I'm a people person.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really into the idea of pushing tickets and, like, making the most for our set and, like really making the most out of our moment.
Yeah.
Not just getting booked and performing, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I was like, yo, we can make mad money from this. At the time, I was in my head, we can make mad money from this and selling tickets and just showing hella people that we're cool. And then it's going to be a thing. Like, people are going to want to see us because our shows are so tight.
Yeah.
So I did that for a minute. We did that shit for a year. And it
so
started to
how-
get to a point where you
I was
start to
gonna say.
like you look at the ceiling, you look at like your cap, you look at what you can do, you start wanting to do more. And that's where we were at. We were wanting to do more, but we didn't know how. We didn't have the education. We just knew we wanted to do more and we were gonna push for it. So that got us into this position. There was a time, 2015, 2016. Sorry, 2015, 2016. We're starting to get in with like not bookers, promoters, and that's a big difference. And we started getting with promoters who weren't even local promoters, but the local promoters were pretty fucking shiesty. Let me tell you. And so we got in with these promoters, and you get these big dreams like, oh yeah, we're bringing the game. We're bringing the game.
Oh God.
I think I remember that. I think I remember what you're talking
He was
about.
going down memory lane. I remember, and that show like didn't happen. Or something,
No,
right?
it didn't happen.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh my God, we didn't put money in, but I watched like 10 artists put money in, and I was like, dude, that's weird. I was like, good thing I know the guy. And I was like, you know what I'm saying? But that same dude, he hooked up for a position to perform on South by Southwest. It was a showcase. And I was like, showcase? I mean, bet. Prizes? I mean, bet. Like, I know how to perform. Let's do this. And so, I ended up driving all the way to Texas. We were all celebrating. Me and my buddy Brendan, we were buying hotels, you know what I'm saying? Sleeping at nice spots. We're like, well, fuck the 2 stars, get the 4 star. We going to Texas. Like, we about to win this contest. The fucking address was a Texaco. It wasn't even an actual, like, and if I had really, like, looked at the address on the contract, I would have known that. You know what I'm saying? That's the first time I put like $300 in to secure my slot and got there. And
I mean, it costs a lot to get there too.
We drove, man.
Yeah.
I found the first time I drive. I was like, yo, this shit is crazy. Cross country, we living the dream, bro. I was like, yo, this is like, and I was like promoting the shit, all my socials, talking bad shit. I was like, we about to come back stars, blah, blah, blah. And then I was silent for like 4 days.
Afterwards.
We had an interview set up too in Idaho. I can't remember the spot. I can't remember. So, and the dude's a real good friend of mine, but I can't remember the spot. We had an interview, and I had to like, when I got there, I was like, hey, look.
Don't talk about that.
Let's talk about the next show we got. Like, don't do this to me.
Oh my God, bro, that's got to be one of the most painful things.
But the cool thing was, on that ride home, I had a 3-hour conversation with my now manager, Riker. And that's when I started to get that position of wanting to change this from like a hobby to a career because of how mad it made me and how much I had invested into it. I was having all these thoughts like, dude, like I put in so much time, so much effort, so much fucking work to get bamboozled because I didn't actually put in the real time. I you know what I'm saying? I was so infatuated by the idea that I didn't actually do my homework. Yeah. And why is that? Why is there so much that I don't know about what I'm trying to do? Mm-hmm. I would never do that in a sport. Mm-hmm. I would say I want to be the best wide receiver, not know the best wide receivers, or not know the best catches, or you know the certain ways to catch your positions, or the best way to set myself up to be the most successful. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, I was jumping this music career and running a path not knowing the best way to be successful, even where I wanted to go.
It could be that passion that you just like, I just want a stage and a mic and
but
people.
Man, I'm going to tell you, blind passion in a world where there's millions of people on social media nowadays ain't going to work out. Mm-mm. 20 years ago, blind passion probably would have got you somewhere. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, blind passion got a lot of people of color in the 50s, 60s, 70s ripped the fuck off, performing for the biggest venues and getting paid nothing. Mm-hmm. Some of the people we love today are broke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And to watch someone who's not of color get the same opportunity doing less work and getting paid, it's not even comprehensible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, blind passion is great. But again, in today's age where everybody's doing it, I wouldn't recommend it.
Need some direction.
I mean, or unless you want someone else to direct you for you, you know what I'm saying? Is that really what people want nowadays? I watch a lot of people do that. It's kind of discomforting. And that's actually why, like, nowadays I've kind of kept to myself and been just, like, really maintaining and focusing on my brand and those elements because it can kind of get disheartening. Like, people will feel like we're doing a lot, but I'm like, a lot of great energy in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Isn't always the best move, you know.
No, there's a lot of passionate people, but where you put that, too, is. And so I'm assuming that the people you keep around you are like that's a very important thing is keeping people around you that have a mindset that is going to drive everybody where you guys are trying to go.
Oh, period. And the good thing is, like, I'm not surrounded by a bunch of artists. Like, all the people I listen when I shout people out, none of them are artists.
Oh, that's lovely.
You know what I'm saying? None of them are artists.
So there's not that competition type thing going on.
Oh, no. Well, not even, that's not that, but that's not even what I'm talking about. It's the reality of, like, it's not the blind leading the blind. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not getting inspired because you made a song. Mm-hmm. I'm getting inspired because I'm watching you progress in your lane. And that's crazy. You're like making something of yourself in this world. I'm like, damn, well, I gotta do more in my role. Like, what the hell? Like, damn. I was like, oh shoot. Or I'm watching my business manager do like all these other like knick-knack jobs. Like, I don't want to say knick-knack jobs. I don't got a good word for it. But I'm watching him like open up all these lanes to himself to make this possible. So I'm like, word, well, what am I doing besides being an artist? Let me make sure I'm like working on my editing skills. Let me make sure I'm working on my production skills to give my project a full scope of what I actually want to do. Let me like work on like some graphic design so when I talk or communicate with my graphic designer, I already got a sketch. I already got like the skeleton of what I want to do there. You know what I'm saying? I'm leading my brand to where I want it to go instead of hoping somebody understands by text.
So bring us back to where you were making it, you were in a group, and then kind of how, going into you becoming like taking it serious and really like, where did you meet Riker at? Was that somebody? Was she somebody that you already knew, or
Riker was actually my mother met Riker. I was doing a performance at the Pen, and my mom just walked into the green room. Riker was in there. I think she was in there with Lou at the time. Something happened. Cause I remember there was one or two shows where El Mafia and Lou Era were on the same bill. Riker used to manage Lou. And so she, of course, was in the green room. I wasn't actually like aware of her. I was infatuated with Lou at the time. And I still like love his pen. I love the things that he does. I would never take away from what he does. But yeah, Riker was managing him, and my mom came in there and seen Riker, and immediately they just had like a bonding conversation. My mom was extremely passionate about me and what I was doing. And she just gave that energy to Riker and gave Riker more of an awareness of what I was doing. So from there, I think, Riker just paid attention. She paid attention to like, it wasn't about like the music moves. It was how I carried myself, how I was talking, my mentality to sell tickets, my mentality to make something out of nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like we were the wildest, we were the greatest, we were the best performers or rappers or anything. And I would say we were, but it's not like we really were. It was the reality that we were really continuously making it happen regardless, and our name was something that people would speak on from out of nothing. We made that happen. And so going back to what I said about the whole getting ripped off in Texas and coming back from that that wild adventure where I got scammed, I was on the phone with Riker. She called me because I made a post on Facebook, and I was like, yo, this thing didn't work out. I just made one little post. I was getting frustrated. It's like a 23-hour drive from Texas to Spokane.
Jesus
and
Christ.
At that point, we had exhausted funds. We really did. We had really exhausted funds. And so it was no hotels. It was a straight drive back. You know what I mean?
No stop?
Not after. When we went back, we didn't want to stop. I was sick to my stomach. I wanted to get home and figure out the next move.
20-some hour drive?
You start getting into this like, I gotta do something to get this like energy off me, this negative shit off me. At least that's how I think. When bad things happen, I can't soak in it too long. I gotta get
jump
back.
out.
I gotta do something. I gotta find the next thing.
Yeah.
I can't, cause then like you are what you allow yourself. Some people allow themselves to be that moment. That was a failure of a moment. Now
And like week after week after week, still be in that moment.
I'm looking for the next success. So I'm like, oh, that was and then like, I lost 300. Well, now I gotta make the 300 back. My first thought. Now I gotta make the 300 back. What's the next show? What are we doing? Like, I just can't. You know what I'm saying? We was doing too much cool shit for So Riker texted me. I texted her back, and then she called me. We was on the phone for 2 hours. And I think Chill, who is now my mentor, Chili Mac.
Yeah.
He's my mentor. He's been my mentor shortly after that moment. Riker became a manager. He became my mentor. We was on the phone maybe for 2 hours. She called him in, and they just started really breaking shit down to me. They broke down my contract because they had they had been sent that contract probably to like Lou or something. I can't remember how they got the contract to 12. Maybe I sent it to him. I can't remember the details. But they started breaking down the contract to me, showing me why this was wrong, how they were never even going to pay me even if there was a performance, because how it was described. You know what I mean? There were certain parameters that was never going to allow me to get paid. And they started really like throwing game at me, you know what I'm saying? And man, I just remember shutting up and just listening and thinking. I was like, damn, how do y'all have so much to say? You know what I mean? And why are you like giving me all this knowledge? It made me smile. It made me like feel like things are gonna be okay, man. Cause like no matter what happened after that conversation, I knew I was like, yo, like someone's looking out for me.
Yeah.
And I'm not like doing all this hard work like by myself.
No, it's crazy, man. How like your mom and like how that all came together.
Yeah.
And, like Riker, but then you get a mentor too. Like how many people even have a mentor? That's like such a
I started
beautiful
seeking.
thing.
I started seeking that out. I started looking more like I was inspired by Lou Ara's performances, but now I was looking at this Snapchat, looking at the workouts, looking at the events that he was going to, what he was talking about, what they were talking about. And I tap into that. And that made me reach out to them more. I started asking, it wasn't all like perfect, you know. I would send Riker songs and she'd give me short responses. Oh, this was cool. It's all right. I'm like, damn, nigga, I was so bored this song. What are you talking about? But again, I'm like, word, like, how am I going to trip on the person who gave me game? So if you don't like the song, maybe I should do better. Because I don't like Yes Men anyway. So thank you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll keep working that shit till it sounds cool, you know what I mean? I remember I got inspired to perform without my backtracks. I used to, back in the day, I used to rap over my songs, man, like in like 2015, 2016. I remember I saw Lou do it, and people didn't get it. They didn't understand what made the performance so good. It's because he was rapping. He wasn't karaokeing over a song. He was rapping, and it was crazy. He was bravado, and I was like, I'm bravado. So what's up? So I took the backtracks off, and I forgot my lines.
The first day? Oh, shit.
The first time I tried it.
Oh, man.
And I went home, and I ain't gonna hold you, bro. I
Were you
cried.
Were you rehearsing and shit?
I didn't think about that.
Oh, fuck.
Nah, I was like 17, 18.
Yeah.
I went home, and I had forgotten like half of the verse in that song. I went home. It was just one song. I had like 5 songs. I did cool in the other songs. I may have forgotten some lines in the other song too. But I went home, and I ain't gonna hold you, man. I cried. I was mad.
You was like,
I
damn.
was
That shit's
disgusted.
embarrassing. We both done it a lot.
Bro, it sucks.
I was disgusted. I was like, what is this even? Like, what is that?
Yeah.
What is that? How can I forget? I've been rapping the song. I was like,
I
guess
wrote
haven't-
it? What
I
the
guess-
fuck?
I guess I
Yeah.
haven't been rapping the song. Like, you know what I'm
That's
saying?
it. That's it.
So
Really.
I started like really peeping in more. I started like getting into more details. What does his works out look like? And I started to see, oh, like he's working out and rapping his shit. Word. I was like, oh, that's cool. That's crazy. So I started engaging with them, talking with Riker. Yo, I see that. Da-da-da-da. And that's when that bond really started. That's when they started to bring me in a little bit more. Because I would show up to events and have conversations with them and like honestly show them like I'm really into what y'all are doing. I'm trying to figure out how to do it for myself.
I think one thing that people can learn from that watch this podcast is like making that effort. Like you went out there and put in the effort to say, hey.
They were already watching me. They were already watching me for like 6, 7, 8 months before they made a decision. But it was up to me to show that I was actually into what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna just pick anybody.
Yeah.
And they did not pick me because, oh, I was the best lyricist, oh, I was the best rapper, oh, I was the best performer, none of those things. It was an honest connection and an honest understanding of work ethic and effort and appreciation for where they were going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I fast forward January 1st, I started December, November, I started kind of more closely getting into the office with them, having some strong conversations, kind of giving them an idea of what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go, like what kind of music I was making, showing them some of the songs. And come January 1st of 2017, I quit my job. I was working a job, man. It's crazy. I quit my 9 to 5 and never looked back. That was my New Year's resolution. I was never going to look back. And so I did that. And
Woo! Never look back.
yeah.
Let's say that one again for the
Yeah.
people in the back. Never looked back.
What were you doing?
Django doesn't have a 9 to 5, folks.
What kind of job did you give up? Just like something that had a future or no?
Oh, no.
No.
Nah.
Okay.
Before that, and so the crazy part is I was doing running start and stuff at the time too. So I'd gotten my, I just finished up my AA in computer science.
Oh, okay, dope.
Yeah. And that was just because like my mom was like wildly in, and my mom, just quick little thing about my mom. Very independent woman. I watched this woman, when her and my father separated and stuff, I watched her relentlessly give no excuses, went through college and became a project manager of a bigger law firm and just worked her ass off. You know what I'm saying? There was a time where I couldn't live with her. I ended up living with my grandparents because she was working her butt off to provide for not just me, but my brother with no like hesitation, no complaining, never complained about my father, always raised his name up. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Their
big.
decisions weren't like put onto us, but she was never gonna like rely on him. You know what I'm saying? And she didn't give us any of that energy. She just made it happen. So in a way, even when she wasn't there, she was still playing mom and pop. You know what I'm saying? Making sure financially we were good, didn't want for nothing. You know what I mean? And I like caught that as being the older child. I like caught that from a pretty young age. I felt that, so I stopped asking for shit. I stopped wanting to be a materialistic person. That's why you don't really see too much of that type of shit. I don't be bragging about woo woo. Like that's not really me. It never was me. You know what I'm saying? I can appreciate jewelry. I can appreciate custom clothing, especially like custom shit from like if like you make silver, I will silver because you made it.
Oh, good point.
You know what I'm saying? I fuck with that. But Gucci, who made Gucci? Who's the owner of Gucci? And even when I do find that out, why should I care about Gucci? That nigga don't care about me. You know what I'm saying? It's a pretty crazy like mentality for me. So I really rock in with like material things that I know the person. I can relate to this person. I understand what he's about, and that's why I'm wearing this. There's a story.
I see that.
This.
I mean,
this
I see
dude
you.
with soul, and I love Erin. Oh, I love her. I love what she does. You know what I'm saying? I've been rocking with her. We've been trying to do collaboration pieces for like since 2018. Because she had a conversation, me had a conversation with her. I went to her shop back, I think it was on Sprague, small little shop, walk-in shop. It wasn't crazy, but it was cool to see that. I was like, I'd never been in here. I never seen nobody sew before. You know, what the fuck is this? This shit's hard. You know what I mean? But I get inspired by that. Like, you're doing your thing, we do my thing harder. You know what I mean?
I love that.
100%. So, yeah, my mom worked her ass off to get to us to where we're at. And that shit inspired me to do more and, like, want to be, like, strong from anybody around me. Like, that energy was infectious to me. You know what I mean? And so, had to run it that way.
I mean, I can tell, like, I can just tell that your mom was just an angel of a person just by how great of a guy you are. Because I've always just been like, anytime anybody says anything about Jango, ask anything about you, I'm just like, this is the fucking coolest guy I've ever met. The dude is just nice. Like you're a friendly guy. Like, you know, and because you're a people person and you're you know what you're doing, you know, and
100%. And when I don't know, I'm not afraid to walk down the path and figure it out.
and be like, I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
A
Yeah,
lot
I'm
of
not
people have
afraid
a problem just being like, I don't know.
It's the biggest problem. You
And I
run
get it as an artist too. Like I ain't gonna hold you. Like ego can get the best out of people. But I like to recognize that. I like to understand when I'm ego tripping and learn from that moment. I may not respond in that moment in the way that people want me to, but I'm not that person in the first place.
Yeah.
As much as I am a people person, I am my own being. I do recognize my power and what I've done. So I never let someone take that away from me by being a people person. You know what I'm saying? I say that in a sense of like, people feel the need to have an ego when they're around me. Sometimes people feel the need to say certain things or to make it seem a certain way or to try to position things a certain way.
Oh, I bet.
And I'm like, all that stuff is cool, man. But it's like, sometimes I get a little tired of like the reality of people wanting to act like they've been around or they've done things. I'm like, I see this the other day. And it's not even a slight, but I see this the other day. Like our shows, any of our themed shows, or the legacy show, anytime dropping a song and doing a show, anytime we're bringing artists out here, like the Cinema Child show, I think we're 5 tickets from selling out. But we sell out shows without bringing artists to the show. And that was like a big statement for me in saying like, as much as people would like to say they support us, I don't see people come to our shows. Not artists. And there could be 300 people in the crowd. I recognize faces like crazy.
Yeah.
And I've never let that bug me, except for lately now, because people started to tag me more and like really, you know, associate themselves with me a lot more than they ever have. And so now I'm starting to get to that point when people are making thank you posts and mentioning me for being at their show and talking about, oh, how we're going to grow the scene. I'm like, you know, it's crazy because, yeah, I've been to your show like 5 times, but you've never been to mine. But here you are throwing me in your text talking about we going to do this. I'm like, I kind of feel like I'm still doing my thing of supporting people who never supported me, you know what I'm saying? And that's not even like slights. Again, it's just my realization nowadays of where I'm at. And appreciating it and not allowing my own ego to get into the way of that or feeling some type of way. But just like recognizing it. And recognizing people, because we've done this thing where we've tried to bring a lot of people in. I've used to get disappointed. That's why you don't see too many features. I've done a lot of songs with artists, but I started to get tired of how they were talking about releasing it, or like not necessarily the ideas, but like lack of effort. I have like a lot of just experiences where people aren't actually doing or following through. And even in the smallest, like if you're doing like a little bit, bet there's some effort.
Yeah.
Bet. Because you can't judge a person for not knowing what they don't know. They don't really know I should be doing this for promotion. Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
But like for the people who do know and for the people who just don't do nothing, it's kind of like, why do you want me to respond to the fact that you want to do a feature with me because I'm hot right now? Or because I just did this show and you're like, this is the time.
And it's like like-minded people, I feel like, help you drive in the right direction. That's where, I mean, are you good at like kind of seeing through some stuff, you know, when people, because I'm sure like.
Oh, I have to, because when I first started, I wasn't. I was smiling at everybody. I was doing everything. And Rocket didn't like all that. And I didn't get it. I was like, Rocket, come on. Like, let's just and I used to get not embarrassed by them, but people would put me in awkward situations. And Riker, being the like on and on plate person, would never allow me to escape a lesson. And I never shied from a lesson. You know what I'm saying? So I knew it was coming. I get in the car. We're the type, we don't sleep. When the event's over, we have a 2-hour recap. You know what I mean? Every event. You know what I mean? When people are like, oh, that event was great, we recap and talk about the good and the bad. You know what I'm saying? And so there was a lot of learning lessons, especially with Riker and my mentor in 2017, 2018. There was a lot of learning lessons and a lot of like reshaping of my mentality I had to do. And even now, 2020 and 2021 was an even stronger couple years of realization, because it was during times where like I was getting bigger opportunities and people started looking at me less like this, more like this, and how people were starting to like operate around me and how they would put me in awkward situations because they didn't respect it, they just wanted to be around it. The difference between like respecting it and being like, oh, bet, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to try to like sneak into your green room. I'm not going to try to like get into your show for free because I respect what you're doing. I'll help build that. And so I started to learn a lot of strong lessons these last couple years about boundaries and really like understanding people's roles in your life, understanding people's positions in your life, and not allowing somebody who doesn't actually have any intention of like building with you to not be so close. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's been one of the biggest things.
Intentions. I feel like that's where I read, because people put a lot of headlines up. You know, people will make their headline whatever you want to hear. That's their headline. They're like, oh yeah, da 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 da. But you watch the intentions, right? It's like watching when someone's about to shoot a basketball, man. You just watch right here. Like, you can tell what they're about to do. I'm not watching the ball. I know where I'm watching right at your chest.
Man, I be acting like that interviewer. You know, like the job interviewer. You know, you got to do your homework on the people you're like, you know, hiring for the job and shit. I be going to motherfuckers' Facebooks. Because to be honest, that's where like all the like, not the artist shit. And like, I do a good job because I know that. So like, if I'm using my Facebook, it's really just like promoting my music, the shows. I notice a lot of people like how it looks. I post a lot of photos and shit. You know what I mean? But I don't be doing too much of the like talking and all that. I do that on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Follow me on Twitter. I'll be talking shit on Twitter.
I know, I love Twitter, man.
I be deleting shit. Like, I tripping. I gotta relax.
I did too much.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, that 3 a.m. Twitter was just ridiculous.
There's something about Twitter that just makes you want to just like, you just can just type out your thoughts.
What are the covers like?
Too much. Too much. You've been drinking, man. If you've been drinking, it's like, stay away from it. Stay away.
Oh, by the way, this is a non-alcoholic. Don't let me fool y'all.
Yeah. Tell me about that. Is this something that you're doing just like right now? Is this like a year for something for the year, or
really more of a cleansing, more of like clarity of mind and peace of mind. I've spent a lot of time in my career drinking and smoking. I want to try without it.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's that simple for me. And I think sometimes I'm a very simple man, so when I fall more into like simple ideas, I progress the most. And so for me right now, I will drink, but it's more like appropriate times. And that allows me to lessen how much consumption I'm taking. 'Cause I could drink right now, and I'm going to the preview terrain night. I'm sure they're going to have wine. I love wine. I know I love wine. So I'm probably going to drink some wine.
I see.
A cup, you know what I mean? But I don't want to be... That's a very important event to me. You know what I'm saying? I go to it every year.
Yeah.
The people that are there, I love having conversation with them. I love feeling like we're building towards more. So I want to be cognitive. I want to be aware of what's going on.
So how long has it been since you decided to do this?
June?
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Oh,
June.
nice. That's a nice
Yeah,
break.
Cody's doing 30 days, right?
Yeah, I got about 4 or 5.
So this was perfect.
6
Yeah.
days
And again,
left.
there's times where I've definitely, it's not like I'm cold turkey. And I could do that at some point, but I've very much made it a point to be like, I'm not day drinking. It's more like let's actually drink and smoke for a celebration. Not just because.
That's exactly what he hit
Let's
me with.
actually like celebrate.
He's like, I just want to do it when we are out doing like.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
if I'm at home or if I'm out like just doing some normal shit, I don't want to drink like because I don't drink a lot at like one time, but I could drink every day.
Yeah,
I want to be that guy that be having like, oh, I got the rare 1937
I could dust
bottle of
this off.
tequila. Like, dude, what a great moment! Instead of like, I got it, I've been drinking it. Turn up, like,
yeah, it's gone.
I had it.
you know what I'm saying?
I got a picture.
Yeah,
I want to have
yeah.
the little alcohol case and me to be like, yeah, I got all this stuff, you know.
And then
I wanna
someone's like,
try
"Can we take a
some.
shot?" You're like, "Yeah, pull
For
it down.
sure, let's
Y'all
do it.
want to
Like,
drink?
I'm glad
Let's do
y'all
it."
here. You know what I mean? So be like half empty bottle because I've been turned up by myself.
So when you because you were smoking before June too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean I've smoked with you. We burned big old blunts and shit like
Absolutely.
that. So did you have like was there any type of like withdrawal or anything like that from like quitting weed?
Nah, I don't. When people be saying that stuff, I don't really have like a addictive personality or something. I did. Again, like I have a mentor. I also have like a counselor. And so like I talk through a lot of like the things I feel and like my mentality towards things or where I'm at month to month. You know what I mean? And so,
Damn.
for me,
That's fire.
and it's again as great as it sounds, like none of this stuff is perfect. None of this stuff is perfect. It's just things I've just recently gotten into. Mentor for sure, but like the counseling stuff like that, just recently gotten into. Because I was having a lot of like, going back to what I was saying before, like realization between like people's intentions towards me. There was some bad incidents that had happened this summer. Some actually like pretty like scary moments, some dangerous shit that happened to me. I didn't get like hurt. Not the weird, you know what I'm saying? But like there's just some things that occurred that just like really made me like look around and be like, let me be way more intentional and apparent and have a lot of like anxiety and anger's a misplaced word, but I did have some anger and like irritation towards certain things with certain people. And I just wanted to let that go and be at peace with myself. Because again, it's just like, I can't, it's not whatever people are dealing with and going through. You've lived 20, 25, 26, 30 years of life. Whatever you're going through won't be unraveled by whatever conversation or argument or whatever we're going to have. I gotta let you be you. That's what you do. I can accept it, recognize it, and, you know, be more aware. You know what I'm saying? And so with the counseling, with the mentoring, double downing into the mentoring and getting more mentoring from my manager as well, and more like counseling there and just more conversations, it allowed me to be a person who could just look around and identify what was what. And that was my biggest thing in today. And it's like every level that you go up higher, you gotta like reassess. You gotta reassess. You gotta understand what's going on. Look at the people you're more balanced with versus where you're at here versus here. And just start every time.
You sound very very self-aware, like very self-aware, and then very into kind of like working on yourself, different parts of yourself. And like I feel like a lot of people have trouble just reaching out for the help, like counseling. Like a lot of people will just go to their friends and just shit all over, or you know what I mean, just give them their whole days, whole months, whole weeks problems. And you know, people just going out looking for counseling, looking for a mentor.
So you gotta be aware of the people you're talking to. It's like me talking to my friends that work 9 to 5 jobs. What advice are they really gonna give me? Someone who's an entrepreneur, I'm gonna complain about certain things. They're like, "Oh, why don't you just get a job? Or why don't you just do this? It works for me." I'm like,
Why don't you just get a job?
when's the last time you did a song or did a show? Or like, yeah, it works for you because you're not trying to do this. That would never work for me. You know what I'm
I
saying?
need some industry specific shit here.
You know, they want to talk to me about females or certain things. I'm like, I get why you think that. Dad, father of 2, but that's not gonna work for me. Father of none. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's different.
And so like, I think sometimes people don't recognize or actually be intentional about who they're getting their counseling from.
Yep.
And so they end up spending all this time having this conversation and not really getting anywhere. Or making the wrong decision.
I just see a lot of people that just need to just go seek out somebody, to just like a professional to sit down with and be like, why am I angry? Why do I have whatever it is, like, all of us are walking around with some type of childhood trauma, some type of shit that probably needs to be worked out. And that's what I just think is so cool to see. How old are you?
25.
25 years old, and just like working on yourself, and like you just have so much time. So, it's just, I feel like that could be an inspiration to a lot of people that watch this, that know people also, to just get out there and seek out that counseling, right? Seek out that mentorship, because if you have to take the step to kind of level up like that, which you did.
And the coolest thing too is like when you really build on yourself and you know who you are, you can create. Sorry, this shit's good. You can create your own boundaries, your own filters, and which will allow you to walk down a path that is your path.
Your own filters.
You know what
That's
I
a
mean?
good way to
Filters
put
has
that.
been big. Filters is what's allowed me to create where my brand is now with the performing, all that stuff. Having filters allowed me to like create my own identity. It's been so fucking fun. It's been so exciting.
Elaborate a little bit on that. What do you mean what are like by filters?
What would I say? So let's jump into filters as an artist, as a brand.
Okay.
We'll just talk on that. Or let me just talk on like how I developed this next project. Can I just do that?
Yeah.
And because I did this with my producer, Ben Sway. And one of the coolest things is like when I was making the music, he was like, well, what are your filters? Like, what do you want your project to sound like? And at first I was like, bro, I'm just trying to rap. Like, we got these 10 songs, what are you talking about? He's like, that's great, but they sound different. They're all great songs, but they sound different. Is that what you want to do? Or are you trying to make like a mixtape? You trying to like show off your different cadences?
Yeah.
Because I was somebody like, I was infatuated by like the Kendrick Lamar, like many different cadences, many different song structures, and I was building my music like that. But the guy with him, he helped me create a filter. One, like I focused in on like one solid tone. We were like, and why is this tone the way this is? That's when we started developing more into like some of like my personal characteristics. I definitely can come off as very serious, but I also can come off as very goofy and lighthearted, depending on the situation. So how do I take those filters of being serious, but also lighthearted? What is that? Define that. You know what I'm saying? And we put many different names to it. And I started acting different. He would just observe things I would do, or like I do certain things, and he would point out, "Oh, why you stick out your tongue?" And he would do it back at me, so I'd see it. And I was like, it seems funny, but I would mentally see it because I always would do it to people and wouldn't think about it. I wouldn't even make the noise. I would just do it, and then he was like, he did it back to me, and I was like. He was like, "You do that all the time." And I was like, "Oh, word." I was like, "What is he doing?" That was weird. And I was like, oh my God, like do certain things, and he would do it back to me. And I was like, oh, word. And so we started like, he would show me different rock bands and how they like their characteristics, their filters, the face paint, certain things. Like, you want to be a face paint guy? You trying to be like Tech Nine? And I started to realize I developed this thing of like my brand, my style. A lot of the things I talk about is very rebellious, very against the grain. You know what I'm saying? Like Alone by Choice was as like person it was and how friendly it was, I still was trying to go against the nature of the idea of not being okay with being by yourself. Yeah, I wanted people to refix that mentality in their head and actually fight towards the reality of I'm comfortable being by myself. Yeah, I'm cool by myself, alone by choice.
That was a whole movement.
I chose this. Yeah, 100%. And so it was interesting to see my old filters being redefined into a way that was a little bit more lighthearted and not as serious. Because being just too serious, to me, it felt so pigeonholed. And when we started defining this filter, we put a name to it, and that was the GOON. And to me, it really embodied the type of rebel that I was trying to be. You know what I'm saying? The type of like, I can appreciate the way things are structured, but some of that needs to go away. Or like, not every law works for me. Not every rule works for me. And here's why. You know what I'm saying? The Robin Hood, if you will. To me, he's like a goon. You know what I mean? He's the type of motherfucker, he has so much skill. The king's out here looking for him, and he just shoots the arrow right by the guy, not to kill him, but just to show him, ha ha, look at the power I have, ha ha, look at you. You know what I'm saying? You're the king, but you're goofy. You know what I mean? At the same time.
I love that.
Catch me if you can type.
Yeah.
And so I really related with people like Robin Hood, like Loki, certain characters like that. Even like the Joker, to me, like, because he showed Batman, and Batman's my favorite superhero. Y'all ain't gonna tell me he's not a superhero, but he showed Batman the errors in his ways and how they kind of need each other for things to actually exist in that. You need a little bit of chaos to have your peace.
Yeah.
And so I like that. I really relate to that yin and yang. So for me, again, the Goon, it really, I embodied that, and I loved it, and that became like my ultimate filter. And I looked through everything through those lenses, through that scope. That
You're saying that this is like you're working on a new project right now,
absolutely. Well, I mean, we just waiting for the features to get done.
and it's pretty much done.
We've been developing. I have been redeveloping for the last 3 years. I've been working on this project for the last 3 years. I have this project and 2 other projects basically done.
So is this a COVID project? Because I don't want to. I really want to kind of know about how how COVID, like how that affected you. You know what I mean? Like especially somebody that quit their job to pursue music in 2017, doesn't have something to fall back on.
Yeah.
Like
COVID was good for me in a sense of like, obviously it's a tragedy, but it was good for me because it actually like allowed me to redefine myself and redevelop. I was walking down a path that was like so great with the legacy and all those things, but I had to like really look at the message that I was putting out and ask myself if I fully was on track with this, if I fully was embodying this in a way that like really worked for me. And I went through a strong depressive state. That's why you got that Project Espresso and Shine.
I love that project, man.
But we'll chat into that in a second. But it's
love
like
that shit.
I got into a very strong depressive state because I had to keep. We were doing like the features that would come in just didn't excite me because I'm looking at the Trippie Reds. I'm looking at like Denzel Curry. I'm looking at all that because like my performance is like energy, but my music isn't giving you all that yet. And the message I'm giving you is not that yet. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of confusing a little bit. Now I'm starting to get confused because my filters were all out of whack. You know what I mean? My filters were all out of whack. And so I had to like really redefine that, really like identify, I love high energy performances. I love having a good time, acting out, being able to yell, being able to like get my energy and all that like pent up shit out. I like being able to say what I want and not necessarily caring too much about the consequence or if I'm being too PG. Like, you know what I mean? Like
You just want to be unapologetically yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I like to just simply be myself and not having to overthink stuff. And so
And you like to get the crowd crazy.
That's the easy way to say it, but like really, I like the crowd to be expressive. That's what I think of when they're getting crazy, they're being themselves. They're being the purest selves. How you would act in your room, throwing your hair around and acting out, acting wild. You get to do that at my show because I'm inviting you to do it because I'm doing it. You see somebody do something, monkey see, monkey do. Oh shit, we can act crazy? You're giving me permission to do something wild?
Let me tell you guys. There's a show tomorrow night. We're watching the live if it's still going. I mean, for real, when you go to a Jango show, that's how you feel. You feel like as soon as the music starts hitting, you got to move. You got to like, but you want to. I know that you're going in with the pit more now and the crowd surfing and shit like that.
That was more natural. I was going to do a couple of rock shows. I'm hanging out with Wes. I'm hanging out with Indian Goat. Because, we started doing the Unity shows.
Yeah.
I started having some of my first paid experiences with Indian Goat. And he's like, get in there. And I'm like, I'm scared, dog. I'm 5'4", 130 and no more, boy. I'm scared. I was like, bro, you got some like 6 foot, 300 pounders.
Bro.
Looking at me like they going to push the shit out of me. And it was scary and exciting at the same time. You know what I mean? It was fucking wild. So I was like, man, anything you can do, I can do better. There's just the mentality we have.
You just get in there.
So I was like, I wonder what it would be like to do that at my show. Like, especially because I got this music now. If you come to my shows, like you're hearing a lot more rock chugs. You're getting all this punk energy, all this rebellious nature. It's like, let's mosh pit. I did the show at the Knitting Factory at Tech 9. I'm opening, and all I said was one word. I was like, let's mosh pit. And before I didn't even have to guide it or direct it or nothing. These motherfuckers just opened that bitch up, started mosh pitting before the song started. I was like, word. I was like, word. Oh, that's nasty.
This is natural.
You know, that's disgusting. I like saying those words. I like looking at shit, and I call it controlled chaos, beautiful chaos. I like that shit. We're just like, we're just fucking shit up. Niggas are doing it with a smile on their face. They're getting their energy out. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got pent up shit. Do that. Get that out. You know what I mean? And so, like, to me, like, I love controlled chaos. I like that idea, like, the environment's a safe environment, but we can rage, we can wild out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I feel like when you're on stage, what I've noticed is that, like you were just saying, when you're giving people permission because you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a lot of people think there's a lot of people these day and age, even when they're at a show, they got some kind of social anxiety or something going on. They feel weird, right? Oh, I want to dance, but I don't know if I should dance because, people might look at me and think I'm weird. And I don't know if people just thinking too much, right?
I started to realize that was like a reality because I used to not come out before the show. I would wait till I perform and have the conversations. Now, there were some times where I stopped doing that for a little bit, and I'd come out at the very beginning because I wanted to watch the opener. I just had like certain intentions with certain things. I wanted people to see me get excited. I started to realize people have a lot of social anxiety because people would see me and just want to talk, not just like talk about me, but like their life or what they're going through and just all this shit. Just like, yo, I'm so glad you're having this show, blah, blah, I've missed you. And they're just like, talking about like what they've been through. And I'm like, man, like people be going through shit. And this is like their stress reliever. And that shit is like mad exciting to me. That's mad exciting to me. I'm like, bet, I'm about to give you mad energy so you can give all that pent up shit. You can just let it go for a second. Mm-hmm. It feels so good to just be free for a second and not worry about that shit. Because I be going through some crazy shit and then being able to like.
Being free. Like when you go on stage, I feel like the good artist.
Oh, here it is.
When you have a good artist on stage, they make you feel like you just start doing it. You just start moving and shit because it's just a good artist that has good energy, right? Like you have this energy where you're using the whole stage. I was going back looking at pictures of where you did the Pullman shit. Where it was just like,
oh my god,
I'm seeing him on a speaker, just up there, just
gosh.
like you were working everything up on the gates.
Yes, and they were so cool. They were so receiving of me. I was still developing and understanding myself. I didn't have the filters back then. I just had structure and training. Yeah, and that's the difference. You know what I'm saying? Back then it was great, but I didn't have the intentions of like really being able to find who I am, what I'm about, what my energy is, why I'm doing these things. I just was performing in a structural way that actually passed with people. It was like, oh, he's decent. Oh, he's great. Oh, okay, cool. Some crowd participation. Like it was cool back then. And I post that as a reflection piece of realizing like where I definitely was and where I'm at now. I used to like cringe those things, but I appreciate it now. I appreciate it because I'm like, man, look how far I came. Look how much I like understood about myself to be able to give these people now. You know what I mean? It wouldn't have been without COVID and certain things and like my mentor and the people who were around me, I wouldn't have been able to have that self-discovery. And I wouldn't be like where I'm at now in this like moment in life. And I still have so much fucking to do and so much to learn, so much to like be attentive to. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole new generation of people coming up, a whole new generation of artists and consumers who care about totally different things.
Oh yeah.
And so it's like
changing all the time.
Yeah. So it's growing with the times and what's going on. Which in Spokane can be such challenging because sometimes like I like to say this, like the younger cats are so infatuated with social media that they're not necessarily like as aware of the local scene. And then the local scene, the older cats are so infatuated with being the local scene that they're not aware of what the fuck is going on around them. So you get these like really interesting, fixated like opinions about what's quality hip hop and what's not. You know what I mean? It's very polar opposite.
The old cats aren't open to new shit, and then the new cats or new young people are like, oh man, that old shit.
I like the J. Cole shit because I look at myself now at this point in my life as being like a middle child. You know what I'm saying? Like my sister's 8 years younger than me, and what she be talking about, what she cares about, or why she likes my performance is totally different than why like Kingston likes my performance. Completely different, but they both there. Yeah. How do I capitalize on both of that? How do I give them both what they want? You see something about like an artist being like the great artists are the ones who can give energy to the room. And I agree on that. But my mentor told me a good performer is someone who can read the energy in the room and give them what they need. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? And that shit was like mad powerful to me. And he told me that back in like 2017, man. I'm just now getting it. Like
You find what's
this
missing.
last 6-8 months. And I'm still like perfecting that. Cause now that I've gotten like opportunity to perform in bigger crowds, there's times where I'm like, sold out Numo, sold out Knitting Factory show, and people are losing their fucking minds. And there's other shows where it's more of like it wasn't curated for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not opening up for like, or I'm not having my own show. I'm not opening up for an artist who's like a rage or high energy. I'm doing a performance with a crowd that doesn't know me. It's already sold out. They would have sold out without me. People don't know me. And the mask and that stuff might scare them. How do I invite these people who are already not into me? How do I read that room?
Like,
how do I read that room and give them what they need before the people they actually want comes on? What do I do in this in between time? And there's times where I've made missteps and I've learned so much in that time. It was so humbling because the last year and a half I've had nothing but crazy shows. But I've had some shows where it's like 500 people in the room. There's like maybe 100 really interacting. You know what I'm saying? How do I, one, continue to give myself energy? How do I progress through that? How do I take these people and make the most out of that moment? Or how do I look around everywhere and find at least the one moment? How do I become memorable in a place where people don't want to remember me? You know what I mean? And so stuff like that's been extremely humbling. And it's what's needed to make somebody great. Like, I went back after some of that shit. Because I remember I was like, called my mentor immediately. I was like, yo, this is what happened at the show. Like, what do you think about that? He was quiet. He was like, look at this link. It was a link of Kendrick Lamar getting booed off stage. Off stage.
Wow.
Like,
he just wasn't around his
30, 40 people in the room. This is right before the Tech 9. He went on tour with Tech 9. So, like, get that C4 project in 2010 or some shit.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about? When he was like really deeply infatuated with, he's still infatuated with Lil Wayne, but he had like the Lil Wayne cases and shit. And they go do some. It's just crazy. Like, it was like maybe 2008, 2009 actually, because 2010 was actually a really great project. Is when he like really like put his own cadence, purely his own cadence into a project, and it was less of a mixtape and like more of like a real project. But it was around that time he got booed off stage, and I'm looking, I'm like, that shit made me like shake to my core. Like, that's my favorite artist, favorite rapper. J. Cole's my favorite artist.
I mean, it's crazy to get booed off stage, man. Like, you gotta have a real hostile crowd.
And then he sent me another video. It's Jay-Z getting booed off stage at a festival in Texas. That's insane. But he started, just giving me points of like real truth and reality. One, Texas is its own ethnicity. They got their own oil out there. You know what I'm saying? They got their own vehicles. They got their own way of living life. You're not finna just go in Texas and just be like the shit.
They throwing fucking shows at Texacos and shit.
Period.
Man. What the fuck they doing out there,
I'm
bro?
just saying, like, if you ain't really respecting the area, like, these motherfuckers ain't gonna respect you. And in the Midwest and the Mid and the South, that's that same shit. Like, I ain't finna just go over at Atlanta and blow the fuck up. They got a prospering scene out there. Like, they ain't finna just give it to you because you think you deserve it. You know what I mean? If you ain't talking about nothing.
So, I mean, like, you going out there and really, you know, reading that situation and being able to, you know, being able to cater to what is missing in the room. Like you're saying, if you know that people they don't know who you are and all that, I mean, that is a way different thing. And I think that's real, just like self-aware to just think about those types of moments.
This is the other thing. You said, think of being a musician like being a player in a sport. And again, I didn't really get that as much. I was just thinking, okay, I'll do the workouts, I'll do the training, I'll have the structure. But it's like really can you do the audible? Like, what, can you be the Tom Brady and practice 100 times this way, but get in the game and do it a different way? Off the cusp, because you're that good, because you've been trained so well to do everything. not just this one thing that's gonna pigeonhole you. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, you're right.
And so that's that thing. Like people, and that's when I started to realize it wasn't just like the narrative that I was giving that pigeonholed me. It was my own mentality. And I had a lot of self-growing I need to do to actually get my brand to a place that a lot of people could like it and appreciate it for what I'm giving out. You know what I'm saying? And so again, just going back to what did COVID do for you? Like it allowed me time to grow as a human being and honestly as a man. I had a lot of like childish mentalities and childish traits about me, and I still do. There's still things I'm working on today. My biggest thing right now is accountability and knowing your role and playing that role effectively. It's my biggest thing right now. And walking and doing things with intention. Those are like my 3 like pillar points I know will allow me to like really progress to my next stage.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how you kind of ended up working with Sam LaChow, merchandise, the video. Frick shot it,
man,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a powerhouse, Northwest powerhouse
And
here.
see, this is a lesson that people gotta learn too. Like, remember when I was talking about how like when artists talk about want to do a feature with me, I really don't be doing feature with people anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like doing songs with people I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so that was like when I started to just do this. Let's hang out. Like, I want to do a song. How much you cost? How much you charge? I was like, man, you know it'd be dope if we actually kick it. You know it'd be dope if you invite me to a studio session, not so I can do music with you, so I can hear your music. Don't send me a link. I want to hear you perform it. I want to hear you recording your music. I want to see if you're passionate about your shit. Don't send me a link. That's easy as shit. There's nothing to that. I want to know if you're passionate about your music because I don't want to stand beside you talking about a song we did, and you like, yes, whatever, whoop, whoop. Nah, if you ain't passionate about your shit, how the fuck you expect me to be passionate about your shit?
Yeah, definitely.
So like with Sam LaChow, man, he was one of the first artists I actually met when I was getting with Riker. One of the first things Riker did and allowed me to like really progress was start to like, cause I had never really been to concerts. I had never been to concerts. I'm a military brat. We moved around a lot. I went to movies, bowling alleys, skating rinks, and I was like, I wasn't going to no damn concerts.
Yeah.
So Riker started bringing me to concerts and not local concerts. She would, anytime like artists from Seattle would come over here or some of the bigger artists, she would bring me into the net and let me watch them and study them. And I would do my homework. I'd literally put notes down.
Is this just all genres?
Absolutely. It leaned more into hip hop for a while, but we started going to like the sweeplings, like Carmen Jane.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Back when she was in a duo group, we went the sweeplings. God, what's that rock? Oh, Slipknot. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? I can't remember this band. Oh my God, don't hate me. I like Slipknot. They're fucking fire as shit.
You went to a Slipknot show though?
Yeah, absolutely. I've gone to like 2 now.
Sick.
And because their lead, I can't remember the fuck. Ooh, this is bad. The lead singer, he's such a great performer. He has great crowd control. There's so much that can be learned from someone like that who can demand from 30,000 people and really get that many people going. You know what I'm saying? And know when just to focus on the people in the pit to make the most out of what's going on over here. Like that shit's mad impressive. So I've studied a lot over that. But going back into it, I met Sam LaChow at a Black Umbrella show at the Pen. Right before my first headline at the Bartlett. I believe it was in June.
Okay.
June 21st or some shit. It was my very first headline. You know when I had the billboard and shit?
Yes.
But yeah, I met him. I met the whole Black Umbrella crew, and I watched them from front to back. And that was one of my first times watching a show where every performer had it. Because Black Umbrella, they were so serious about like rehearsing. They were so serious. They had like their own little like Black Umbrella house where they were doing training, developing, studio sessions, all that shit. So I started to study that a little bit to see what that was looking like. I was like, that's interesting. That's crazy. And it really like shot a little thing in my head to like, one, when I have my show, I'm gonna make sure the performers, they're gonna all be local or at least in the area, Idaho, like close around. That very first show, it had to be people who appreciated quality. Because then the fans that are going to come, they're going to appreciate that quality. They're going to appreciate each one of us and come. And so that very first show was a success from front to back because we thought of it from front to back. It was nearly packed out from the very beginning. You know what I'm saying? You don't really get to see that with local shows because they don't really consider, sometimes the artists don't consider their openers. They don't consider, does this narrative make sense?
Yeah.
The people I'm associating with on the show, do we all align? Like, would their fans like my fans?
Yes.
Would they all get along? Are you gonna walk in the room be like, yo? You're gonna walk in the room and not know anybody and be like, what's my dude's done about?
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? Was that the show we did together? My first
Was
Bartlett?
that the Romero Francois or this? Yeah, this was at the Bartlett with the billboard with Romero Francois and Mike Capes, right?
That was the second one.
Okay, that was the one.
Is
we
that
did.
what y'all were on?
That was the one we did. Yeah.
Okay. I think I had. God, who did I have?
Was TS on it?
Bad Yoshi. No, not TS.
see, Bad Yoshi was
I had
dope.
Bad
Oh yeah,
Yoshi.
I remember that show. Yeah.
Yeah,
With,
Bad Yoshi, and I think I had Past Life Kenny.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
He used to go by Kitten Walker.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and I had someone else. Oh, TMS.
TMS. Who is that?
Oh yeah. I know that light skinned cat with the fro. Yeah.
I think he lives in Vegas now.
Oh, dude, I remember that guy.
He was tight. He was tight. Yeah. All the
was
whole show was
cool,
tight.
man.
Yeah, I
remember
see what
him.
you're saying. Though.
He was
yeah.
cool, but you know what I'm saying? Like the TMS, I was like around him. He was really good friends with my mentor. And we was around each other. We would go to shows sometimes, pop up and just have conversations. You know what I mean? Kitten, I remember he was doing stuff with Sherb. They had like a really cool like Lookout CDA, and I loved his vibe. So we had a couple conversations. I was infatuated with his music, and we really like ran that one home. And Bad Yoshi, they were actually one of the first. When I went out to Seattle, they let us stay the night at their spot, me and Riker. So they were one of the first people who let us do that type of shit.
Dope.
I was like, I remember I had just turned 21. My ID was still vertical, and in Seattle, they just don't let you in the bars with the vertical. It doesn't matter if you just. I literally just turned 21, like the day before, and they did not give a fuck. They were not letting me into this bar. So I remember I had a joint. I was going to meet these guys, and I walk in there. I had like 2-minute conversation with the Bad Yoshi crew and Waffles. And then the bartender kicked me out. And Riker's like, oh, we'll get you in a second. So I was like, damn, look, I'm so embarrassed. Like, I really started like, this is my first conversation with someone I was trying to see.
Damn,
And I got like,
get kicked
sit-
out of here.
I sat outside for like 30 minutes and waited for Riker and Bad Yoshi crew to come out. And then we finally smoked this joint. I had 2 joints. We smoked this shit. And they invited me over. It's like, oh, we guys staying tonight. You know us. We'll go there and we'll come back same night. We literally seen that vision. We still do it sometimes. We have a little bit more money now, so we stay. We got more friends now, so we stay a couple of days out there in Seattle. We've invested so much time that we've invested so much of a network
That's
that we
nice.
can do that. We can afford
That's
that.
nice, man. Because driving back, that's brutal.
It's
It-
brutal,
it's
but if you're
brutal.
doing it all the time, it's nothing, man. It's really nothing.
And when you want it,
Because think about it.
yeah.
You could spend 4.5 hours on your phone. I be looking at my phone. It says like, oh, you spent 6-7 hours today. Weekly,
damn,
on
bro.
average. I mean, when you're doing social media and different things, it's like, it's that.
Yeah,
it's that.
eats your
Especially
time
during
up.
show runs, I'm creating the assets on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm creating the assets. I create all that stuff on the phone. I'm on the phone talking to people all the time. You know what I mean? So of course, that much hours, it makes sense to me. I'm not just. I really hardly do I scroll on social media. I'm on my phone with a purpose, talking to someone, trying to do something. I'll go through. I have like 25 people I like highlight, follow on IG and different social medias. And these are different artists. These are different social influencers and different people who either like do something interesting with their content. They either have interesting narratives or they're inspiring and things like that. I just pigeon into like very specific conversation because it inspires me, makes me
Yeah.
want to do more.
Yeah, I think that's the cool thing about like social media is that you can kind of tailor it to
Yeah.
to what you want to see too.
Yeah.
So that way if something pops up, you know it's going to be something that's like value. You know,
I started unfollowing a lot of people. I started realizing I was like, man, I was like, oh, why is my timeline off? I was like, oh, no, like the people you follow, you. So I was like, each time I see some just like whack content, I'm just quick to unfollow people. I was like, I don't want that in my head. I don't want to see it.
Yeah, it's like, bro, it's not even personal.
Nah.
Some people take shit way too personal. I'm just like, it's just like, hey, we get to tailor make what we
You
want
can
to see.
message me and I'll message you back. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, let's go back to the merchandise video though, because the song dope, video
Oh,
Like,
well, sorry. We were talking about Samuel Chow and stuff.
Yeah.
So again, the Black Umbrella thing, and the point that I wanted to make was before I even did any music with this dude, I was simply his friend. The point that I'm trying to make about all the traveling I was doing is like we would travel to meet these artists with no intention of doing anything. The simple conversation Rocket had was like, yo, you know, he's gonna be dropping music soon. This is my artist. Just wanted to meet you. Nothing more than that. No business handled. And so we did that, and then we went to his show in Seattle. Same conversation. Yo, I dropped the music. You know, if you're cool, I'd love to send it to you. If not, it's totally fine. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be doing some shows out here. That's when I'm gonna be doing Upstream.
Upstream.
I was gonna be doing Upstream.
Damn,
You know, I
Upstream.
got to see. And the second time we seen Sam was at Sasquatch. He was a fill-in for an artist, and just last minute popped in, so I made sure to talk to him again. And at that time, it was cool because there was a couple Seattle cats that have known me because I had kept going to do the Seattle Tacoma thing. Respect My Region had like a cipher with the Tacoma Seattle artists. I was the only Spokane artist to come through in the cipher, meet all these cats. So when I went to Sasquatch, there was artists that already vouching for me for being a good like rapper. I could rap. I could be in a cipher. I could rap. So Sam was like, oh, word. Oh, damn. Oh, that's cool, dude. You know what I'm saying? So I kept following up on that. I was very, very attentive for like the next 4 or 5 years. 3, 4. It must have taken like 15 visits of seeing him until we were friends. Cause I remember doing Upstream, and I had Upstream was legendary for me because I did the Legacy song, and we had dropped it like a week or 2 before, and we had dropped the video. And so there was all this buzz from Upstream in Seattle. They wanted to see me because Kung Fu Grip was like blowing up at the time.
Yeah, they were feeling it.
So they wanted to see me. So we had a packed out Upstream performance because of how we played it. So all these Seattle cats, and even then, like Sam Chow didn't really know me. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, you hang out with those Kung Fu Grip guys. Oh, they're cool with me, bro. So we'd have conversations in passing. Until finally, like in 2019, 2020, I had a very strong conversation with him. And he picked me. It was during COVID. He picked me to do this live stream set. There's a live stream set, so no one's there. It's a live stream at like the Nectar Lounge, right? Is it called the Nectar Lounge?
Yeah, Nectar.
Thank you. At the Nectar, and so it's just me and like 7 other people or like 10 other people. You know, crew,
Yeah.
his manager. It wasn't really that many people there.
He hand selected like a certain amount of artists, or
It was just me and him. Yeah. And if there was an opener, I'm sorry, opener. My bad, but I'm afraid it was just me and him. You know what I'm saying? That was a very powerful moment for me because I got to grow a little bit. I got to actually be friends with somebody that I had like wanted to be friends with for a long time. Because you got to think not only is Samuel Chow, but for me in high school, Samuel Chow was like a hometown hero kind of. People loved his 80 bars. When I was in school, people would talk about Samuel Chow like crazy. All the kids that went to Central Valley, these kids were mad fans of Samuel Chow. Like my demographic, my age group loved Samuel Chow. We're all YouTube babies. That's mainly where Samuel Chow was blowing up on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Back when Macklemore was doing the Wings thing, Samuel Chow was doing the 80 bars.
Yep.
So there's a lot of like growth there for us. We seen him. And so there was a little bit of that for me. I was like, dude, you're like Samuel Chow. You're like, man, we used to rap your shit in high school. You're like one of the few people I can like say that like. You're like, I know you. And he's just being all cool. We're having this strong conversation in the green room. And I was like, look, I don't want to push it like this, but I'm just simply like, bro, we've been chopping up for like years. But I've done Upstream, I've done so many things. Like, oh, I know, I've seen it. I'm like, damn, that's cool. And then I was like, listen, I don't know what it's going to be, but I got like 4 songs that I've created in the past that I could have asked you to be on. I really want you to be on something. And he made it simple. He said, simply send it to me, bro. I love to listen to it. I love to do a song with you. And I was like, I'm going to do a song. And he said, yeah, I watched when you're performing. You're actually really dope. And it was that simple to me. So I went home immediately. You got to follow up on these things. You know what I'm saying? You got to follow up on these things or it'll come and go.
especially these things. Like when you have a real opportunity.
I was positioned. That's when I was with Ben Suede, and we're making custom music. We're creating custom beats. So we took like 4 of Samuel Chow songs, and I didn't even present to him the song music that I already thought he'd be good on. We made more songs. We made more beats. I was like, Sam's excited. Let's do it. So we made a bunch of like stuff that would like curate to me, but also curate to him. My biggest thing about my brand is when I feature somebody on my shit, I have the idea of like I'm a composer, I'm like a very good curator. So like we picked a beat that I knew he could not say no to. And that was the merchandise beat. And I knew it would challenge him to get a little bit out of his own realm. He could sound like him, but the conversation would be a little different. And the production would be a little different, but it would still make his fans like it. It was still groovy, but it was like futuristic groovy. You know what I'm saying? The old heads, the new cats could like that shit. But oh, this is something we could dive into. And it hit. I sent just that one, and then I sent the package. I don't even think he's seen the second email. He's seen just that song and messaged me.
That's what it was.
He sent me a voicemail. Sent me a fucking voicemail. It was like, bro, and I got this number, but I thought he would never text me. He said, bro, I got your email, bro. This merchandise, is it merchandise? I think it was called Hands Off at the time. We called it Hands Off. Bro, this Hands Off song, it sounds so dope, bro. This is what you want me on? I'll do it. I'm like, whoa! I went back to Ben. I was like, bro, we got a hit. We got a fucking hit. We're about to get Sandwich Child this shit, bro. And within the week, he had already sent me back writing, and he's such a cool dude. Like, he's like one of those artists where he's like, yo, if you have like any opinions on this, because I'm very in depth with my shit, so I had opinions, and I was like, well, here's my lyrics. This is what I'm talking about. Can we kind of like shape things a little bit more into this? So he rewrote it. We rewrote it together. We got to the studio together, and I started talking about cadences and stuff like that because I'm super serious about the song. I was like, this is kind of how I'm coming off. Here's some of the like filters. I'm a little goofy here, but it's still with a serious note. You know what I'm saying? We want to like kind of like laugh on the fact that shit's fucked up in the world. We see it. We're aware of it. And we're kind of like just like being on top of the fact that like this is kind of crazy, but like say it in a funny way, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. They're like Bugs Bunny of this shit. What's up, doc? Can't catch me type shit. You know what I mean? That type of shit. And so that hit, and it really resonated with a lot of people. Seattle and Spokane. I knew if I could do that song, it would really be like a pillar for people. It would really like hit people in a way that they would never forget that. You know what I mean? I knew if I could do this song with Sam, it would hit in a way that would just open up a stronger bond between me and him. Because he would, you know, I don't know how many times he gets offered the opportunity to do a song with someone else where it really hits. Like he has his go-tos, The Gifted Gap. He did the song with Blind, the Ryan Carvel. He's had his people that he's grown with year after year after year, and he's done these features. Let's do something else and like create a narrative that'll branch this over. And you know what I'm saying? It,
and that's probably why he was so down too, is because he sees you know that you have something that you know that's different.
And he's already doing successful in Spokane, but now he comes over here with this just a little stronger narrative. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm from Seattle, but you know, I've done music with your city. I've done music with the artists from here, Jango. Don't y'all love Jango? Like, there's a little bit more to that, a little more oomph, a little more narrative that goes for that Northwest upper left shit that we've always talked about, you know?
Yeah. Damn, man. So, you know, last show of the year is tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then
last Spokane show.
Last Spokane show. So Seattle, you'll be in Seattle before the end of the year.
I got a music festival performance, November 10th or November 9th through the 12th.
Okay.
Freak Out Fest. It's our 10th year anniversary.
And that's in Seattle?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's in Seattle. I was trying to think of specifically.
And then is it all genres, or is it a hip hop festival?
It's more of like a rock, punk, alt rock, and hip hop festival.
Oh, dope, dude.
You see a lot of like what's that like color shit they be doing? Ugh. Okay, like projector screen type shit. Yeah. For lack of a better word, that type of stuff. It's like a psychedelic music festival.
Okay,
let's just say that. Yeah, it's a very psychedelic music festival, and the people putting it on, I love these guys. I met them at Tree Fort. They had their own freaking stage, the Freak Out Fest stage. And these guys are like, they're really serious about their like psychedelic music, the rock, the alt rock shit. They really push something that's just like incredible. They've made a lane for themselves. So I rock with them, man. I definitely will be supporting them from years to come.
So are they a band, or is it Freak Out Fest?
It's a label.
Oh, it's a label.
Freak Out Records.
Freak Out Records.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
They do Freak Out Fest in Seattle.
Yeah.
Dude, that is dope. Okay, yeah. Hey, people, if you live in Seattle, get over to Freakout Fest. It's
There,
fucking wild.
and then me and Sam Chow will be in Portland in November. I want to say the 13th, but don't quote me on the date. We'll
Damn,
be
just
in Portland.
jumping right.
Doug Fur Lounge. If you type in Sam Chow, Jango, Doug Fur Lounge, you can correct me on the date. November 13th. But yeah, we'll be doing that. I believe that's my last show of the year. You gotta look at the calendar. That should be my last show of the year, and then my biggest goal, well, the biggest focus from there on. And the reason this is my last show in Spokane is because it's time to give them a new project. It's time to give them more than just like a single here and there. It's time to like actually. I've been developing for 3 years and I have so much music and I haven't put anything out because there's so much stuff that I wanted to like really get solidified before I'm just tiptoeing into stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so for me, I think the biggest thing, the reason why I continue doing shows and performing this new music was to like softly welcome you guys into my new space, into my filters, and softly like bring you into it before you actually hear it on wax, before you actually hear this music in the social thing and get confused. I want to like truthfully like lead you to that water. And we did like a light little test of it with merchandise. We did a light little test of it with Espresso and Shine. But even that stuff isn't necessarily like what this project sounds like. It's very light. It's very like diluted compared
So you're
to like.
performing songs from this project live.
Absolutely.
So that's where you gotta go hear it live.
Absolutely.
if
You
wanna hear it.
have to. That's the only place you can.
Because there's not a release date on this thing. Nothing's being announced. But you can hear the album if you show up. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You hear me? That's what's fire about local music or live music rather is that you get treats.
And y'all got a story to tell. Y'all heard that shit before anybody else.
Exactly.
Before anybody else. 'Cause I promise you when it drop, it gonna blow. But y'all got to hear that shit before anybody else. Period. And y'all got to catch me when I start to fuck a crowd. Y'all motherfuckers.
Bro, thank you. Thank you for coming on, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bro.
Hell yeah, bro. There's obviously so much. We could go on forever, but you got shit to do.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch that Terrain preview night. Get inspired by artists, get inspired by the performers, and get inspired by like just building conversations, man. We build here, we're gonna build there. I'm glad you guys do this. Straight up. I just wanted to say that to you guys in person. I've watched a lot of you guys' episodes. The longer podcast than what most people do, just in Spokane comparatively.
Yeah.
And I like that because it's more of like a comfortable conversation. It's more of like, between friends. I think what you guys are doing is great.
Thank
Straight
you.
up.
Thank you,
100%.
man. Yeah, I appreciate you coming here and just fucking with it, man. Because
Automatic.
Because you inspire us. Like your drive and everything that you do. So tell the people where they can find you and.
If you don't know, you can check your boy out at my website, Jango Lives. That's JangoLives.com. Or Instagram, weird, Jango Lives, JangoLives. Jango Lives. It's not Jango Lives. And if you message me that, I'm gonna fist fight you with a smile on my face because you can't get to me.
Bro,
Jango Lives on anything, any stream. When it comes to Spotify, you can find it on my website, but Jango. I'm one of the very few black guys on Spotify named Jango. I got a bucket hat on. You can't miss the guy. You know what I'm saying? There's a song called Legacy. If you need more things to type, Jango Legacy or Jango Merchandise, you'll find me on Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, whatever you listen to. Like, I'm on the whole thing.
Are you on Reverb Nation?
What the fuck? No, but I'm on Pandora, baby. So your mama and your grandmama can listen to Jango.
There we go. All right.
Reverb.
All right, everybody. We appreciate you tuning in. Peace. Yo, I'm just happy to be here, breathing this fresh air, living my best life, even when the shit ain't fair, even when the love ain't there. Yo, I'm just happy to be here, smoking some good weed, not thinking what could be. I'm just here in the right now, doing me till it's lights out. Yo, I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, cause I know that shit could be worse. So what I spit in these verses gon' make some history first.
Show 'em I'm happy to be here, I'm living my best life.
Yo, you living without fear,
You wonder what that's like
like a breath of some fresh air.
Yo, I'm just happy to be here. The great Jango.
Oh my God.
Like you just start doing it. You just start moving and shit. Cause it's just, you know, a good artist that has good energy.
Oh my God. Nah, if you ain't passionate about your shit, how the fuck you expect me to be passionate about your shit?
Definitely.
What are you talking about?
You just start
Freak out.
It's just
Name Jango. I got a bucket hat on. I definitely can come off as very serious, but I also can come off as very goofy and lighthearted. I like, oh my God.